except for Brittney Griner. And that's not because she's like good at basketball so much as like bad at pack.
It began with a clip that shook the league overnight. Brittney Griner, eyes narrowed, towel draped across her shoulders, stormed off the court without a word. No handshake. No glance back. Just raw frustration captured in a few seconds of video that instantly went viral. Fans flooded social media asking the same question: what happened to Brittney Griner? For over a decade, she had been untouchable, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, a WNBA champion, and one of the most dominant figures in the sport's history. She was women's basketball, the player who brought dunks, swagger, and star power to a league fighting for attention. But now, something felt different. The same fire that once made her unstoppable seemed to burn hotter, darker, like a player fighting to hold on to something that used to be hers. Because while Brittney Griner had built the WNBA's foundation, someone else had stolen the spotlight. A rookie from Iowa named Caitlin Clark. Before anyone had even heard of Clark, Griner was already rewriting history. At Baylor, she didn't just dominate, she redefined what domination looked like. 6'9", with the agility of a guard and the confidence of a superstar, she put women's basketball on the national map. Her dunks weren't just highlights, they were headlines. She led Baylor to an undefeated 40-0 season, a record that still stands, and when the Phoenix Mercury drafted her first overall, the league felt reborn. Griner became the face of a new era. Interviews, endorsements, gold medals, she wasn't just a player, she was a brand. But fame is a double-edged sword, and no one understood that more than her. Then came 2022. A routine trip overseas turned into an international crisis. Headlines screamed her name across the world. The WNBA's brightest star was suddenly trapped in a Russian prison, sentenced to 9 years on drug charges. 4 months, fans, politicians, and teammates fought to bring her home. When she finally returned, thinner, quieter, but still defiant, every arena rose to its feet. She was no longer just a champion, she was a survivor. Her comeback was emotional. Every dribble was a statement, she was back. But while she was rebuilding her life, a new phenomenon was taking shape thousands of miles away in Iowa. Caitlin Clark. Her games were must-see TV. Sold-out arenas. Millions of viewers. Fans waiting hours for a glimpse. She was electric, pulling up from the logo, smiling as the ball swished through the net, rewriting what was possible in women's basketball. And when she entered the 2024 WNBA draft, the sports world stopped to watch. The Indiana Fever selected her first overall, and overnight, everything changed. Ticket prices soared. National broadcasts tripled. Jersey sales broke records before the season even started. Suddenly, every brand that once revolved around Griner now revolved around Clark. Nike, Wilson, ESPN, they all rebranded, remarketed, and reinvested in the 22-year-old rookie. And somewhere in Phoenix, Brittney Griner was watching. At first, she shrugged it off. Stars come and go, she told herself. But this felt different. The reporters who once crowded her post-game podium now ran toward Clark's locker. The SportsCenter reels that used to open with Griner's dunks now played Clark's step-back threes. The shift wasn't subtle, it was seismic. And then came the controversy. A clip surfaced from a heated game between the Mercury and the Fever. Lip readers online claimed Griner had muttered a racial slur toward Clark after fouling out. Within hours, the clip went viral. Commentators weighed in. Talk shows debated her future. But when Griner was asked directly, she denied it flatly. "No, I would never say that. There's no place for that in our league." But by then, it didn't matter. The narrative was already written. Griner, the veteran, was being painted as the bitter star who couldn't handle the new spotlight. And Clark, the calm, composed rookie, became the contrast that fueled the headlines. The league that had once marketed unity now found itself split in two. Team Griner versus Team Clark. For some, Brittney represented the foundation, the one who broke barriers, who played through scrutiny, who carried the league when few were watching. For others, Clark represented the future, the face of a new generation bringing women's basketball into the mainstream. Even inside locker rooms, players quietly picked sides. What was supposed to be a celebration of progress turned into a rivalry the league didn't mean to create, but couldn't stop feeding. Because drama sells. Then came that infamous post-game moment, the towel, the walk-off, the headlines calling it a meltdown. She apologized later, but it didn't matter. The internet had decided. Every camera lens seemed to capture her frustration, every headline seemed to compare her to Caitlyn. The same networks that once built her up now tore her down. Behind the scenes, things weren't easier. Sources close to the Mercury described a heavy atmosphere. The chemistry wasn't the same. Griner's body was still recovering, and her mind was battling the weight of public expectation. She'd once been the WNBA's centerpiece, now she was the story people couldn't stop dissecting. And that's the cruel irony of fame. The same media machine that once celebrated her resilience was now using her frustration for clicks. Meanwhile, Clark's brand kept climbing. A signature Wilson ball line. A Nike campaign that shattered pre-order records. Every new sponsorship widened the gap. It wasn't just about basketball anymore, it was about value. For Brittney, that cut deep. She'd been the face of the league when few cared enough to look. Now that everyone was watching, it felt like the world had moved on without her. She said it best in an interview, "Sometimes it feels like people remember my story, but forget I still play." That wasn't jealousy. That was heartbreak. The fear every athlete faces, the fear of fading away before you're ready. But if there's one thing fans should know about Brittney Griner, it's that she doesn't fold. She fights back. Those close to her say she's training harder than ever. Quietly, away from the noise, she's preparing for what could be her most important season yet. Because she knows the only way to reclaim the spotlight isn't through words, it's through dominance. And maybe that's the beauty of this moment. Caitlyn Clark's rise isn't Brittney Griner's downfall. It's her motivation. The rookie who became a phenomenon might just reignite the fire in the veteran who built the league's foundation. The WNBA needs both of them. Griner gives it legacy, credibility, and grit. Clark gives it visibility, marketability, and mainstream attention. Together, they represent the past and the future colliding in real time. The league has never been bigger, but it's also never been more divided. Because this isn't just a rivalry, it's an evolution. Brittney Griner built the house. Caitlyn Clark turned the lights on. And the next chapter of women's basketball depends on whether the league can learn to celebrate both its legends and its newcomers without tearing one down to lift the other up. So maybe Brittney Griner didn't snap. Maybe she simply reminded everyone that she's still here. Still fierce. Still relevant. Still capable of rewriting the story. Because this isn't the end of Brittney Griner's story. It's the beginning of her next chapter.